Hello my friends, welcome back. Today we're going to look at a very special pen that I've been looking for a long time. This is the CONID Bulkfiller King Size that is generally released in very limited quantities over the years, and I've been looking for one for it seems like forever. I was finally able to get one past Monday, the 18th of March 2024, when they released another limited number. This pen was initially shown as a prototype around 2008, I believe. I can be corrected. And it was not until 2015 that it was made available to public. And the Cone Pen Show, it was offered to the public initially in 2015. I was able to purchase this pen on Monday the 18th from Pen World. It seemed like they shipped it the same day, and I was able to get it the Friday of the same week, literally like 4 days. It comes in a flat rate looking box with some paperwork and a catalog from Pen World with some eye candy. That's my favorite water bottle. It looks like a bougie water bottle. You can drink in, I don't know how much the capacity is. I like this Pelikan. Maybe one day I'll get it, I don't know. These are okay, nice and flashy. Not saying I don't have one. Of course, the emperors are in the house. Ballpoint pens, forget it. And the subject matter of this review. So the pen comes in this magnesium looking box. There's a nice hinge, there's a clip that opens it very easily and has a satisfactory crick. There's a Pen World card. There's a certificate of authenticity with 2 signatures. And there we go. That brings us to the main topic of today's review. And that's the CONID Bulkfiller King Size. It lives up to its name on initial impressions. It's a pretty good hefty size. I thought I ordered the tool to open the pen, but I don't see it. Maybe I didn't order it. There are 2 O-rings, it seems like. One is for the shuttle valve, that small one. The bigger one, I'm not sure. It's probably the O-ring for the section. So I chose the titanium nib, because when I signed in to get the pen, everything else was pretty much sold out. I wanted an extra fine, but it was sold out, so I got the fine. They said that the cap is made of Delrin, D-E-L-R-I-N. It's a polymer material. It's kind of plastic that offers high strength and low weight, so the whole cap is not made of titanium, but a mixture of titanium and plastic material. The top has their usual logo. The ring says CONID Bulkfiller and fountainable. The clip seems pretty functional. It's easy to spring. The pen takes about 1 2/3 of a turn to uncap. It reveals the number 8 looking Bach titanium nib. This is a fine. I was interested in extra fine initially, but they were all sold out. But this is what I was able to get my hand on. The grip section is titanium, but not slippery. I don't know what they did here. Maybe there's micro ridges. This titanium does not feel very slippery or polished, which is good. The threads here are made of titanium again. And moving on, we see the secondary reservoir, which is isolated from the main reservoir via the shut-off valve. I don't know how much ink capacity it gives you, but it's probably good for a few pages before it runs out. And if you are on a flight, you can just tilt it up and put the ink back in the barrel. The shut-off valve seals right there and stops the ink flow to the second reservoir. Very nice touch. The rod here is very slim, probably 2 millimeters in diameter. It's pretty straight, but a little rough to pump initially. This is called a bulk filler mechanism. Basically what happens is you unscrew the rod and withdraw to the end and keep unscrewing, and that will disengage the piston, and now you can use it as a syringe. Nice touch. And once you get the ink out, you can turn clockwise and keep turning clockwise. That will engage the piston and lock it, and then push the rod in and shut off the valve. The end of the pen is also marked with CONID and end whip. The titanium pieces look like they're a similar color, so a really nice touch and quality check. And there's no significant disparity between the colors of different sides of the pen. Overall, I'm satisfied with what I got. It seems like exactly what I was thinking. It is excellent weight distribution. Seems like it's perfectly distributed. So why don't we compare this to a couple of other demonstrator pens in my possession. That's our CONID Bulkfiller King Size. From the left we have Jinhao 82, very small pen. Then we have Asvine V200, recent release, beautiful pen also, very very nice. Then we have Pelikan in 1005. Then we have Asvine P36 demonstrator, which initially was thought to be a copy of the Bulkfiller. Then we have Momento Zero Grande Nuda from our friends in Penventure. Unfortunately, very limited production. I put a pilot number 15 broad nib here, which writes very very nicely. I'm very impressed. And that's a very good combination of the pen and nib, which is a keeper. If we were to compare the nib sizes, there's only a couple I would compare to this pen. The first one is M1005 Pelikan, which is similarly sized, mawkish looking nib. The next one I would compare is the number 15 pilot nib. And lastly, Gravitas Wag Filler, which has a number 6 Magna Carta Mag 600 flex nib in it. Writes very nicely. So time has come for us to put some ink in here and see how it writes. This is Montblanc Emerald Green ink, and as we went through this before, you basically unscrew the rod, keep unscrewing until the rod engages into the piston and then disengages the piston. Then you can just basically use it like a syringe to fill the pen. And it does have quite a bit of ink capacity, just like a syringe. I recently made a clone of CONID Bulkfiller. If you haven't seen that video, take a look. I made a syringe filler fountain pen, which I'm going to link here. Feel free to take a look and give me feedback on what you think. The number one pro for this pen is the almost perfect design. It's a very nicely designed pen, beautifully made. It seems like everyone wants to imitate, from Asvine to others. Yet, a CONID is a CONID. It's a beautiful pen. The bulk filling mechanism is innovative. It's a little old, but nothing wrong with it. It works great. So I would say design is definitely a big pro. Second pro that goes along very well with the design is the very, very good ink capacity. Basically, it's like a syringe. This nib seems to put a lot of ink in, so I would take an inkwell with me if I were to go on a trip. Nonetheless, lots of ink. Number 3 could be a pro and con. It's a number 8 bulk nib. I was able to swap several different nibs on here. Unfortunately, the Mont Blanc 149 is a little loose and will need a different feed, or the modifications that I have made on a different video. You can take a look. I'll link up here. The nib here is not bad, but it is kind of flat and basic. It doesn't give you a lot of character to your writing, and for me, I prefer more of extra fine nibs, and I have several nibs that I really like and I would like to swap in here, and the number 8 bulk housing gives me that ability to do that. The nib that comes with this pen is perfectly tuned, and the way it writes is nothing that I would complain about, but I just would like my other nibs a little bit better. Con side, we get to the price. Unfortunately, it's very, very expensive, around $1,300 US. There's very little that this pen offers to justify that kind of price. It is a supply-demand issue. If that wasn't the case, this is not a $1,300 pen, especially considering some of the newer releases such as the Kyuseido Kakari and the Asvine V200 that was released recently. But the status that this pen carries, others don't. And pretty much that's what we're paying for, because in terms of quality, that Kyuseido pen rivals this CONID very, very favorably, and in fact, I would say, in my opinion, is a little bit better made than the CONID. Take, for example, the piston mechanism and the piston rod, and we can do a video comparison later. And the ink capacity on the Kyuseido is just as much and has a second reservoir. And, you know, the nibs, different nibs can also be swapped into this pen. So, I do wish it had a number 8 nib, but you can't have everything. There are plenty of really, really nice number 6 nibs, like that Regalia. And number 2 is scarcity. It's almost impossible to find one of these, and people gouge the price, sell it in secondary market for $1,800, and it's not worth at that price. Even at the current price, it is hard to justify the price of this pen. So number 3 is workmanship. I know this is a surprise, and workmanship is a hallmark of CONID's design. I was quite surprised to find debris inside the barrel. I have no idea what it was, but it took me a while to clean it up. It seems like there was a pieces of threads, maybe rubber pieces, and the rod was very, very stiff and made squeaky noise. Felt like it was going to break. So I immediately opened it up and greased it. I was worried that the piston might scratch the barrel, because the piston was actually not greased. So number 4 con would be that this is a $1,300 pen that does not come with a disassembly tool. It is a $15 tool. They should just include it. Having said that, a Mont Blanc 146 nib tool, not the piston tool, nib tool, will open this piston very easily and is a perfect fit. The one other thing about the workmanship is that this rod is super wobbly. Feels like it's going to fall out or something. Maybe I'm just extra sensitive to this because of working with this pen. The Kyuseido pen is very nicely designed. The rod is much less wobbly. It seems like there's a longer housing for it, which protects it from wobble. There's probably some kind of gasket in there too that stops it from feeling very scratchy. Maybe in the future CONID will change the design. That's kind of rough, and I'm sure it can be easily fixed. If plastic in there is a big eyesore, and once you see it, you cannot unsee. So those are the pros and cons list of this pen. At the end of the day, most people that want a CONID and have the funds will get a CONID once it's available, because it's almost an iconic status at this point and it's super hard to get. And having one of these around is a very good conversation starter and actually very much of a pleasure to hold and write with. I have been looking for this pen for a long time, and I'm thankful and happy to have one. And I'm looking forward to letting all of my friends try this pen. This pen will permanently reside in my pen collection. That brings me to the end of this review. I hope that you found this entertaining and informative. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me at the bottom of this video. I'll do my best to answer them in a timely fashion. I'll hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.